Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen here for Sports Choice Plus. I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. I'm going to be covering the NBA trade deadline trades that's probably going to impact the most. Before we get right into that, I want to make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel so you can know all the updates and all the breakdowns. Without further ado, let's get right into it. There was a number of trades, whether they were huge trades or small trades, that happened in the last 7 to 10 business days. When you're looking at the NBA, a lot of GMs were taking essentially chances and saying, you know what, we're taking our teams back. We're going to make sure that we're prepared and we're doing what we want to do with our teams, and no superstar, no player is going to dictate how we're finishing our season unless we say that. So besides the Luka trade and Anthony Davis trade, I'm going to cover some of the biggest trades I think that's going to make an impact for the remainder of the year. We're going to start at the top spot here. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers trading the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter for Caris LeVert and a couple of different other pieces. I think the big thing is getting him out of Atlanta into Cleveland. You've got a switch guy that can play not only shooting guard, small forward, or power forward. When you look at the way he was used in Atlanta, he's a shooter that can spread the floor, that can rebound. Hunter is somebody that can go to the next level, and you're seeing having him have his best career year this year. That's going to help the Cavs. The Cavs need more in-depth scoring, and they need somebody outside of Garland or either Spider-Man to be able to score the ball when they need it to. Sometimes he goes on hot streaks where he's hot from three-point. Sometimes he goes on hot streaks where he can just score. We've seen his scoring pick up every year, and you're looking at what he's now blossoming into. He's going to want to get paid, but you got to think the Cavaliers have a team full of veterans, full of utility guys, and people that are actually making an impact on the game of basketball. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are still one of the best teams in the East, and adding Hunter just makes them that much more deadlier. And when it comes time to play the Celtics or it comes time to play the Knicks, you're going to see his true value because he's going to step up in the playoffs. Another big pickup and acquisition that not a lot of people are talking about, the Raptors. The Raptors getting Brandon Ingram and letting go of Kelly Olynyk, letting go of Bruce Brown. They essentially let go of some picks as well. This is going to be big because you have Scotty Barnes. This is going to be big because you have Jacob at the center position. RJ Barrett, they are flexible with forwards and also shooting guards. They have the talent to be able to push. Now you just have to put it all together. Brandon Ingram doesn't have to be the guy. Scotty Barnes can be the guy. But you also think that this team is young enough to grow in time for the playoffs. You know, of course, the Warriors made the trade. They did get rid of Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Mitchell for Jimmy Butler. That's going to be huge because the Warriors can essentially make a move with Jimmy Butler. When you think about playoff Jimmy, if you put all the chips on the table, it's hard to bet against Jimmy Butler because he's had success in the East against some of the best teams. Yes, injuries have played a factor. Yes, the bubble was a factor. But you got to think, playoff Jimmy has produced a lot over the last 5 to 6 years, 7 years, 8 years. When he was in Chicago, when he was doing his thing in Philadelphia, playoff Jimmy's real. So if they can get him healthy and happy and on the right track, the sky's the limit. Of course, and one of the underwhelming trades that people are not really talking about, the Hornets got better. They did lose a center in Mark Williams, who's a fantastic young center. He reminds me similar of like Dwight Howard. He's not as big, girthy-wise, as far as the shoulders and physically like prowling like Dwight Howard was. But essentially, he's kind of in that same wheelhouse. When you think about being able to rebound the basketball, being able to hit that 15-footer, being able to shoot the three possibly, there's a number of things that he brings to the table to be able to spread the floor out. But the Hornets getting back Dalton Knecht and Cam Reddish, when you think about what they're able to do, not only are these North Carolina area products from Duke, but you got to think, these guys are, and Dalton Knecht for his college is from too, but you got to think, these guys can now get out from under the umbrella and really play their own game of basketball. They're going to be surrounded by LaMelo Ball, and he can literally get them the ball in space. He can get them the ball in space, and they can shoot. They can be playmakers. They can do what they want to do. And I think that it's a big impact for that team because that team doesn't really have a direction. They're sputtering and spiraling out of control. They can play good up-tempo basketball, but when you have to get in a half-court setting and you have to sit down and play basketball, they're getting beat every time by teams that are more talented than them or more veteran-laced, where they know the backdoor cuts coming. They know how to play defense off the pick and roll. They know how to do different things, and Charlotte just has to learn how to win. And the last one, I think the Bucks got Kyle Kuzma. I know that people are talking about Chris Middleton getting shipped out to the Wizards, but Kyle Kuzma is the same thing as Bobby Portis with a better shooting range. Bobby Portis is the version of Kyle Kuzma that's inside. Kyle Kuzma is the version of Bobby Portis outside. If he was mostly a shooter and didn't go in the paint, that's what Kyle Kuzma is. He's going to have those J.R. Smith moments where you see him shoot 6 threes and he goes 6 for 6. He's going to have those games where he goes 0 for 6 too. You're going to scratch your head and you're going to have some success, but then sometimes you're going to be defeated because he throws the game away. That's just the thing that you have to deal with when it comes to Kyle Kuzma, because he's that type of guy. Everything else I'm looking through, nothing looks like it stands out other than that. The ones that I named, these are some of the most impactful plays that we've seen. Of course, we got to talk about San Antonio getting Fox and getting a running mate for Victor Wembanyama. And you think about this, you have the likes of some veteran leadership on that team that can now carry this team to the next level. They can pick and pop, they can mix and match. And you got different combinations that can be on the floor at all times. And then you got to think about this. They didn't give up Castle. Castle was protected in that trade, and they know that he's going to possibly become a superstar moving forward. They didn't want to disrupt that at all. So I think that a lot of this is coming to a head, and they're starting to be some of the best teams in the West. And you got to think, Victor essentially still has Chris Paul. He still has De'Aaron Fox. He has so many different people on that team that he can go to for leadership now. They can play up-tempo. They can play slow-tempo. You got finishers like Chris Paul, De'Aaron Fox in the fourth quarter. You got Victor in the middle that can stay out of foul trouble and really move around and block shots and evade the paint as well. So these are some of the biggest moves. What do you guys feel? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Definitely check out Sports Choice Plus, and we'll see you on the very next episode.